What's up guys, welcome back. If you're looking for a high quality, highly edited video, this one is not for you. Because today, it's all about what's in this box right here. And the whole purpose of this video is to get this bike started. So let's jump straight into it. This I had to order off eBay. It's a complete ECU and ignition combo. It cost me $892. That's a lot of money, but it's got the ignition kit with a matching key. It's got the ECU and black box. So we should be good to go, right? And my theory is, if I can take the ECU out of this bike, take the black box out of this bike, and then replace it all with a complete fresh set with everything that's matching, surely that's gonna be what I need to get this bike started. One other thing I picked up during the week is this, a new dash. Well, it's not brand new, it's secondhand off another wrecked bike down south, so down in another part of Australia. Picked this up off a new friend of mine, and I got it for a good price. I got it for $600, which is pretty good market price for that. So I think now we've got everything we need to get this bike started. And that also means I'm gonna have an extra ignition piece, which is just here. I'm gonna have these parts over here, which I can also sell. So I'm gonna have the spear dash, which could probably be fixed by someone who's a lot smarter than me. $125 on Marketplace. This extra ignition set with 2 matching keys, this is already sold for $275. And then I'm gonna have the ECU and the black box of this bike. So all of that combined, I can probably get around about $1,000 for. So let's do it. And for anyone with a keen eye, something else you might have noticed is some carbon fiber. We've got our first shipment of carbon fiber from Maxi Carbon from this bike for this bike. If you want to hit up some good carbon fiber, it's out of Italy. Maxi Carbon is the website you need to jump on. But let me show you. So we've gone with matte. We've got the matte Maxi Carbon finish. I've just got to bolt that in place. It's 2 bolts on the top and 1 bolt on the bottom. So 2 bolts on the top go in where the rear hugger goes in. So I've just got to put those down and I've got to put this on. I'm unsure if I'm gonna seal that in place yet. And then we've also replaced the shock cover with a nice matte carbon shock cover. So that is gonna look pretty awesome in the box. I've still got a really nice front guard, so matte carbon front guard. And this is gonna go really well against the wheels when the wheels get painted. We've got our gold paint right here. So I know that looks yellow, but it's actually gold. So that's gonna get the wheels done. The wheels are not gonna get done in this episode though. That'll be the next one when the front end arrives and we build up the wheels. So first up, I'm just gonna remove the seat and take the black box out of the back. And then I'm also gonna go around the other side of the bike and take the ECU off. Before I do anything with putting the new ECU and black box on, I'm also gonna detach the battery so that when I've got a nice closed circuit, I can put the battery back on and fire everything back up. Okay, here we go, all matching. Let's get it on. Okay, this is I guess the $900 moment. Whether or not, when I plug in this ignition, we actually get something happening. Now I've got fuel in the tank from the last time I tried to start it. This will be the 3rd time I've actually tried to start this bike. Just remember, just to put this into context, we've had this bike for 3 months. It's cost $22,000 so far. So I'm massively over budget. I'm roughly $10,000 over budget. I wanted to get to 12,000 and have a fully ready track bike, and I'm not done yet. And we don't even know if it runs. So the engine has had a new filters, new oil, everything put through it. I'll have to make sure the bike's in neutral before I start it, because I've got my other nice bike sitting in front of it, and the last thing I want to do is have it jump off the table. I've got fuel in the tank. The tank's been cleaned out. As far as I can tell, I've got everything pretty well ready for this bike to start. I'm not going to bother about using the keyless ignition for yet. I just want to make sure that the codes actually work on this new ignition and it all matches enough to start the bike. I've still got the problem with the dash. It may need to be coded to the ECU, I'm not sure. Let's see if it displays any kilometers or any odometer reading when I plug this in. But this is the moment of truth. What we should hear is, we should hear the fuel pump go, and we should hear probably some of the ignition actually activate. Let's make sure the bike's off, yep. Okay, and I didn't hear a single thing. We've got ignition. And it turns off. So this is something it was not doing before. It wasn't actually turning off. I'll show you what I mean on screen. So last time when I turned the key on, it would work. But when I turned the key off, it wouldn't do anything. Now you can see I've got a whole bunch of errors on screen there. DTC error, ABS error, a whole bunch of things. So, one of the errors we're going to get rid of before we go any further is, chances are we're probably going to get an error for the exhaust, because I've disconnected the actual exhaust servo just here, but I haven't put a delete on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the servo out of this, this holding bracket and plug it back into the bike. And that way we won't get any errors coming up for that. And this, the rest of this can just go in the rubbish because it's not worth a single thing. Maybe I could take that bracket off and sell that bracket for 50 bucks, but again, it's probably not worth it. So let's do that. Let's take this off. I want to get everything on this bike and pretty well to the best of my ability, all the checks done before I try and start it. Okay, so this is it, the moment of truth, the $22,000 moment. Have I bought a lemon? Is the engine actually any good? Let's do it. So, key on. I got nothing at all. There are so many errors, it can't even tell if the bike's in neutral. The neutral is flashing, so it's probably not going to start anyway, whilst it doesn't know if the bike's in neutral. So what on earth could that be? I think probably what I'll probably need to do is run the Pexa over it again and clear the Texas, sorry, and clear all these codes and see if that makes a difference. So it's actually 5 days later. I had got just jack of this bike. It was annoying the crap out of me. But I've just found one thing. I've just checked the fuses again, and I found that the IMU fuse, the fuse for the actual tip over sensor, had just blown. So I've just reconnected everything, and I'm thinking that's probably going to be enough for us to try and start this bike. Fingers crossed, the first sign we'll know is if we start to see some errors disappear when I turn on the ignition. Okay, so far so good, because the fan's not running. I could hear that going, but look at that. Most of those errors are gone. So I'm pretty sure we should get ignition, so let's give it a go. Okay, what's this, the 5th or 6th time we've tried? Everything's on, everything's attached. I haven't bolted in the black box, I've just got it sitting there. It's in neutral, it's not going to shoot off the table. There's a little bit of fuel in it. Okay, let's do it. It fires. Okay, let's see if we can actually get it to start. Oh, getting close. Sounds like the battery's a bit dead. She runs, finally, after 3 or 4 months. But there is smoke coming off the side. How awesome is that? That sounds wicked. Let's try and start it up again. All that smoke's coming off the rear header, and it's probably just my cleaning products, so it's probably okay. There we go, it sounds awesome. That's pretty much it. That's as far as I wanted to get to on this video. The front end hasn't arrived yet, I might turn that off, but this means it's a major milestone, and we can actually now start to just push forward with the build. 3 months I've been hoping this bike would start, and it runs and it sounds awesome. So thank you for putting up with me for this long. It's been a hell of a build so far, but this is the point where it's going to start to transform. So now that we've got confirmation that it runs, it's just boom, let's just get this bike done. And we've got a pretty cool design coming in for it, so stay tuned, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Next video, much longer, much more info.